Pow Wow, yo, yippee, yay, guys. It's Pow number 42, and I'm super excited to be with you guys today. As always, we'll dive into the love of the community, then talk about what is happening on SwissBorg network, talking about Alpha Alliance with Alex here, talking about the blue whale opportunity, talking about the question of the week, talking about XBorg, talk a lot of updates about how SwissBorg network is killing it right now, and bring a very big topic that we require your help is to decide the fate of how the Borg token will evolve with a referendum. So please stick into this wonderful powwow and let's get started. Question of the week, we're talking about what is happening to the Gogo pool tokens. So there's a very small chances that we will actually be able to list Gogo pool, because right now it's only on dexes that are on Avalanche, but we will figure out a way to do that. So thank you very much, Rich, for your question. Talking about questions and community members, when would you like to have the next Ask the Audience way to have bringing back smart talks? So we could have one on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursday, Friday. What will be the best day? Just please let us know on Discord. We'd like to know what's the best outcome. So let's now talk about the news of the week. So there's been some altcoin pressure, but overall, let's just talk about what the elephant in the room is. Donald J. Trump. He's back on Twitter. He's back on fire. He's only talking about crypto. And crazier than that, he's about to raise like a 300 or 400 million ICO starting today. He has over 100,000 American accredited investors, and then a lot of retail people are participating in his project, what's called the World Liberty Fi. It looks like it's going to be working with Aave as well. That's 7% of the supply of the tokens going actually to Aave's DAO to manage it. Is it a scam or not? Hard to say. I believe in celebrities tokens, but what I really want to emphasize here is that the former president of the United States of America is doing an ICO, and he's running for president right now. And then 3 weeks from now, there's a very strong chances that he gets elected. So the guy starts his second mandate of a president while having his own token. This is completely out of the world. I mean, I knew celebrity tokens going to happen. That's why, we talked about many of them that didn't work, and some like, for example, like Mother are working very well with Iggy. This could be one that could be really changing the status quo, and especially doing ICO in the United States, which we haven't seen any ICO since Ethereum. 8 years, 10 years almost that this ICO happened, and nothing has happened. So we really strongly believe that this is a huge signal that ICOs are back, and we're going to see more and more great things happening here. So I couldn't be more excited about this. This is really something renaissance. Talking about the market itself, obviously the market has been doing very well right now. What we do know is liquidity will be more injected as always. There's nothing new about that. The monthly exchanges, we're still seeing though a diminished amount of volume that's happening if you look at that. But the good news is, stablecoins are pumping, which is always fantastic news. On the institutional side, there's a lot of volume that's being trading on ETH, for example, right now. And we see that the net flows are actually quite good as well. So there's not so much big outflows, which is really showing. And BlackRock obviously is taking a lot within that. We talked about this before. There's an increase essentially of stablecoins, which is really, really nice to see that. OGs, crypto OGs, have a lot of accumulation phase. The accumulation phase is still continuing. As we see, these are wallets that are mostly inactive, that are just accumulating more and more Bitcoin, which is a very positive sign. And obviously, MicroStrategy and many others are just doing that, as we know. The market is obviously very green. But today I want to talk about something very special. I want to talk about our little brother, little sister, which is XBorg. And the reason of why this has been captivated by a lot of different people, I think so is the fact by its nature, the fact that it has done a TGE that is fully ICO from 2017 model, which is unlocking all the tokens. The second reason is that it didn't go to the sex cartel. It didn't just say like, I'm going to airdrop a lot of people and then go on a sex and pay a lot of money and then market make it and dump it. No, they said, no, let's just, get listed on SwissBorg and more importantly, go on dexes and through the MEX we get listed, right? I think so this is something that's really, really good. And there was a vote for that, which is really, really brave of you XBorgers. XBorg presenting. Obviously now there's everyone talking about it. It's really, really exciting. And how does this, and this morning the Crypto Smoogie, really thank you very much for this. It's awesome to see the top performing tokens is XBorg and SwissBorg. So let's try to understand how do we profit from this, right? So right now we see that the three main pairs that are on Radium and on Uniswap, so Arbitrum and on Solana. And we're seeing right now that there is a lot of on-chain volume. This is a very good amount of volume. We see there's a bit pretty much $3 million and in the last 24 hours. And we see that some is with WETH wrapped on Arbitrum. The other one is Solana XBorg, and the third one is essentially Borg and XBG. So people, when they're buying essentially XBorg token, they're actually buying Borg. And this has been traded 640,000 with no market making. So there's really people buying it, okay, or selling it, but mostly was buying, I would say. The interesting part here is that this is a great thing that demonstrates finally the Borg on-chain vision that we've been talking. This is probably the most bullish news you could think about what Borg is. Think about that people, again, are buying Borg essentially to get into XBorg. And this is exactly the vision of the decentralization about SwissBorg and the Borg pad and all these different initiatives that goes together. Think about this going forward. And if you look at our token, why it's been pumping, it is actually the biggest amount of volume today was essentially done on Radium through Borg XBorg. So it's not even people essentially buying Borg. It was just people essentially buying XBorg. So now think about that with 20 tokens, 30 tokens. Now we're talking about 20 plus million volume on chain, which is the 10 times more highly quality than any of this HTX, which is probably most of it, which is fake, or right now Bitfinex, which is essentially done by SwissBorg and maybe some people over there. But like, for example, HTX is all fake. It's all market makers, bots that buy and sell some arbitrage, but there's nothing real about it, right? And this is something that I really want you to take 2 seconds to think about it. This is the biggest opportunity to SwissBorg to finally envision its mission. And if you look at the whole full markets, Radium is number 2. But again, it's not. It's far away number 1. HTX is a fake volume. The crazy referendum that I'm about to ask you to take place in is that should we go full on chain and delist ourselves from sexes? We've been talking about better than sex a lot of times. And we're showing that essentially sex do not really bring so much value as they used to. There's great user experiences, different things. But we now should take the initiative to say, let's go a deep further and try to not reiterate what all the projects have been doing, but stick to what we've believed since day one. The arguments for delisting Borg from sexes and listing exclusively on DEXs could be multiple different things. But the first is our cause, embracing the centralization, alignment with SwissBorg vision, right? To really bring democracy and financial freedom to everyone. What we know today is sexes, they're gatekeepers, right? And what they do have is that they have their own agenda. They want to push their own agenda. Why do you think we never got listed on Binance? Right? Why didn't we get listed on many other different sexes? It's political. People didn't want to see, even if we're partners. No, we're not. At the end, they want to say they're like, we feel like they're competitors. We don't want to take the risk to see the Borg token to get the $10. We want to let them stay on their side. So we don't want to bring any value to that. What is very strong here is that I think that not only we will be able to fight for what we stand for, but on the same time, I think, which is very important, is this is a huge, bold move towards financial freedom. And to show the world that FTX and all these different sexes that have been ruining these ecosystems time and time are really promoting only their projects, being just there in their own cartel, that's not something that I think is something that we should really bring and interfere and show that we have the balls for it. Number 2 is that by going on chain, you won't emulate all the market manipulation, but a lot of it. On sexes, they all work with market makers. Market makers do not bring any value to yourself. They extract value to yourself. And I want to face this is very important. They bring maybe volume to the sexes, and they do trade like institutional traders, but they just remove essentially food from your own pockets. And let's face that, okay? So by focusing on DEXs, well, you don't have those middlemans anymore. They might be on-chain market makers, but it's a magnitude that's way smaller. It's way smaller. And I think so this could be something really good that eventually, by us depositing liquid market making and all that, we could actually bring even more value to the Borg holders and offer different products and services. I believe that this brings obviously transparency and security as well. If a SEX falls out, we lose all of our tokens over there. While DEXs, there's less chances, right? Because it's on chain. And transparency-wise, it's very easy, right? To know that. By moving Borg exclusively on the DEXs, this will enable essentially have higher discrepancy of spreads between trading. So let's say you want to buy 10,000 Borg tokens. Right now, the market makers at, Bitfinex or whatsoever, they sell us, oh, we want a very small spread like that. The token doesn't move. If you notice, since we got listed on Bitfinex and on HTX and all these different other sexes, Borg has been behaving a little bit like this, not fun token, which is just going up 1%, minus 1%. The spreads are very, very tight. If we go on DEXs, we could do this as much as we can. We don't really have any more rules. So essentially, you have the volatility that you'll be able to see like plus 5%, minus 5% in a session, which I think so it's really good for trading activity, bringing more volume because people get excited around it, obviously. The more volatile the token is, the more volume it brings eventually on the short run. And then when it gets to a bigger size, then this thing's different. So now what's the flip side of this? The biggest one to remain with SEX and DEXs is if we have a backup case if Solana goes down, right? Let's face it. If Solana goes down, well, then we'll still have this on other DEXs, on Uniswap whatsoever, but in the app, we won't have really a second way to do that. Number two, access for SEX users. There are still some traders that are over there that are trading the Borg. I don't know if they're really bringing any value to it, and I probably would say not. But there are some traders still on that, bots mainly. Broader market reach. So if it's only on DEXs, it goes for non-custodial wallets or for SwissBorg users, but it doesn't go to other different sexes that have, a million, multi-million users. But so far, we haven't been really found a case there. Last but not least is the slippage. We talked about this earlier. By adding essentially more volatility to it, you're bringing more volume, but as well, like if you want to buy essentially or sell Borg tokens, there's a very high chances that unfortunately you're going to have a slippage. So you might, by selling, not get the right price, or by buying, not get the right price. You'll get less amount of Borg tokens or a worse price if you're selling it. So this is something to make in consideration, and this could be quite important but while you're trading it, but it brings more volatility too. So all in all, we're gonna do a beautiful, not a guardians, but a referendum this time, and it's really you guys to take the responsibility towards saying, are you believe this is good or not for the Borg? If you go from my shoulders, and most people from the executive sides of SwissBorg, most of us believe it's the right way. There are some few people that don't believe it, but it's your vote to cast, and we want to make it as democratic as possible. So please take action and vote for it in the app. Product update. This is some real cool stuff for listening, so keep your ears open. This is one of the coolest things we've done with the MEX. This is something that no one has been able to do. And this is something that even the coolest people are going to be like, oh, wow. SwissBorg, again, has made it. We are now, and we have to find a name, by the way, our smart engines just getting smarter and smarter and smarter and delivering a better way for you to have real best execution, be able to swap anything to anything by using the FX SEX, and now we're going to really talk about DEXs. So a huge major upgrade that has been working for now 6+ months on the smart engine is that with one single Solana on-chain transaction, you could contain a multiple token swap. And this is very important. So in this example, for example, number 2 underneath here, see I'm about to swap Camino and I want to buy some other tokens. both tokens, recommend them, but this is what happens. So in this example, what it does is like the smart engine. It goes from Camino to Jito Sol on Orca. Then this Jito Sol that spreads in two different trades to buy a wrapped Sol on Metron on Radium. And then eventually this wrapped Sol goes to buy Mother on Radium as well. And but this is on liquidity pool V4. We look at all these dexes. We look at all the way to funnel the best trade to make sure you're arbitraging essentially every different token, and all of that in one transaction on chain. So there's not multiple here trades. There's just one complete trade that is sent to a block that there's no MAV. There's only essentially one transaction that is done, so you pay less gas fees as well. So this is something that's phenomenal. It's groundbreaking. You should be super excited about it. The geeks that are probably listening, they're like, how do this, do this? Nicolas and DeFi team will have a presentation on it. But this is something that's very, very big. Even people from the coolest aggregators are probably wondering how we figured this out. Listing, this took a little bit more time than we wanted, but listing actually today, VCHF and VRO, looking forward to have those both stablecoins on SwissBorg. Now you guys wanted Earn. And yes, we're going to have a lineup with high-risk strategies are coming to Earn strategies. The release starting info will happen on, in 2 weeks from now. No, in 1 month from now, sorry. But there'll be a lot of different, assets that will have higher risk and higher rewards, of course, on the main blockchains, but as well some stable coins. So I hope you're very excited about that. We're back into DeFi, and DeFi has risk, of course, and their strategy will probably even have higher risk, but we'll be able to get higher APRs as well, and hopefully things will always go well as we plan. Last but not least, great to see maintenant Alice Guet. Next Tesla events is happening in Zurich. So looking forward to it. One will happen on the 7th of November, the other one will be 11th. I'll probably be attending both of them. So looking forward to this one. Borg and some data. The Borg itself has a little bit pumped yesterday, which is great, and it's pumping even more today, which is good. But the rest of the data is pretty much similar. And to what's happening in the app, it's pretty much similar from last week. Nothing great to mention, unfortunately, which brings us to a low score of 4.4. Borgers, there's always another cycle, but more importantly in this cycle, which is very important, is like XBorg is bringing a lot of value at the Borg as well, and this new way of this renaissance to bring essentially decentralization towards SwissBorg is inevitable. It's the only way that we will probably all be financial free and we'll get to our mission. I think so. This referendum means a lot about how you are the guardians, you are the Borgers that will take the step towards if we should decentralize or not the Borg at this stage or not. I think what's very important to understand from this Pow Wow is, again, how we are with BorgPad bringing a lot of amazing projects to list their token versus us, and that's putting a huge buy pressure and volume towards the Borg token, which is really beneficial for that. I'm extremely really interested to see what's going to happen with Earn. This was a fantastic Pow Wow. Hope you guys are very excited about their bright future. And as always, be wealthy, be healthy, love our Borg equity. Take care, guys. Bye.
Thank you for watching our weekly Pow Wow episode. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to leave a like. And if you didn't, tune in next week anyway, so that you can figure out if it's better then. Bye!